What's going on, y'all? GeoFuck Site Perspectives. In this video, Twitter be the spot, man. Twitter, God, I hate when my dog, I'll be having his hair all over the place. Goodness. Anyways, Twitter be the spot. And Twitter, people are tweeting and sharing information and their opinions left and right. So you get a lot at once in like little micro doses. So somebody one of my social media Twitter friends retweeted and a person's tweet and gave their opinion to that tweet, and I couldn't agree more. Like, I agree all the way with you. It seems like cisgender heterosexual people, regardless if they're men or women, cishet men and women, are about tit for tat for this. They always have something to say about trans people, and particularly trans women, trans feminine folks. And don't get me wrong, they talk about trans men, trans masculine people, non-binary, gender fluid, genderqueer people as well. But it seems like most of the hate and the vitriol, or at least from my perspective, most of the hate and vitriol and transphobia is directly geared towards trans women and trans feminine people to the extreme. Like, it don't make no sense. So this person went out of their way to make a tweet talking about some, basically, I'm paraphrasing it, but basically they was like, you niggas can check, investigate weed and everything else, but somehow you don't know that you're dealing with a transgender. And mind you, transgender is an adjective. So like, what is a transgender? Because that's not actually a person, it's an adjective. Just like, what's a cisgender? Not a person, it's an adjective. So off rip, it's just like disrespect, transphobia, and ignorance, and basically talking about how dudes will go and investigate everything else, but then act like they don't know that they're dealing with a transgender. And in the meantime, I'm just going to go on and say this, it's coming off as hate, jealousy, and insecurity, quite frankly, and just straight up jealousy, insecurity, and hate, transphobia. And I say that it's coming off as hater vibes because, like, why does it matter if somebody is attracted to a person of trans experience? Why does it matter that a man is attracted to a trans woman or a trans feminine person? Why does it bother you? Are you trying to sleep with the person? Because, like, it shouldn't bother you. Number two, it's coming off as jealousy because a lot of times, I'm going to say it, you will have cis women and cishet women who have all of this, shade and just hate, animosity, jealousy, anger towards trans women. And then there's this whole perception that trans women, trans men, trans people, trans feminine, trans masculine people who follow under the transgender umbrella, we're somehow tricking and leading people on and lying, and that's how we're getting these men. And everything is always about the cis male gaze. If you haven't noticed, like, somehow everybody is only focused on men as if there aren't people who are lesbian, who are pan, who have other sexual attraction to other people outside of cis men. You're not the only group that matters, but somehow everybody is always fighting over a group that typically is abusive and violent towards them, which is kind of wild in itself. But yeah, so you got that going on, and it's just like, are you serious? Nobody's tricking these men. These men are fully aware that the person that they're attracted to, that they're spending time with, that they're dating, that they're having sex with, is trans. They know these things. And yet it seems like there's a competition thing going on, and it's like cis people aren't competing with trans people, and trans people are not competing with cis people. Now, if you're bothered and worried that, the person you're with may be attracted to somebody that's trans, that is a personal issue for you. You're the one with the insecurities. That's basically what it all boils down to. And you can't control another person's attraction. And trans people aren't tricking you. You know, and then also a lot of times, in my opinion, cis people play themselves, because you're the one going into these situations assuming that everybody is cisgendered and heterosexual. So did they lie to you, or did you place an assumption on what that person's gender identity was and what that person's sexuality was? Okay. And I said this in another video, and I'm gonna say it again. Me, on an individual level, I'm an intersex, transgender, transmasculine person. I'm a transgendered man, born intersex, trans man, transmasculine human being. I'm very upfront when it comes to my gender identity, my gender expression, my bodily autonomy, and my anatomy. I'm very upfront with that, but I don't go around broadcasting that I'm intersex, that I'm a trans man, that I'm, you know, a transmasculine person. I don't broadcast that to everybody because it's not everybody's business. Because again, if I'm not engaging in a sexual relationship with you, I'm not trying to date you, it's none of your business. You're not coming up to me letting me know that you're cisgendered. I just know that this is a human being in front of me and we're talking. You know, and again, this idea that we're all just coming up and straight up, you know, not disclosing ever our gender, our sexuality. Now, there are people who obviously don't disclose their gender or their sexuality. And again, it's ironically enough, we don't say anything to these cis men who literally lie about their sexuality left and right. The same hate and vitriol that you throw at trans people, you don't say anything to the cis men who are in heterosexual relationships, lying about being committed and monogamous, all the while being on gay, LGBTQ+ dating and hookup apps. Nobody is questioning the fact that they lied to you to get you in bed because they damn sure weren't heterosexual. And it's obvious a lot of times, and y'all will ignore the red flags and still go with them. But yet somehow it's the trans women that's manipulating the cis man into being with them. Y'all, something gotta change. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, y'all know good and well, don't none of that make any real sense. Everybody is not lying to these men. These men know who they're engaging with. They know that they're attracted to trans women. They find them beautiful. They like spending time with them. But because we live in a transphobic society, a lot of times that will keep a man from being truthful about his own attraction, his own sexuality. And also, cis women are the same way. Like, you have cis women who are attracted to trans women, who are attracted to trans men, who are attracted to non-binary, gender fluid, genderqueer people, but they would much rather make it seem like, you know, it was just I got drunk that night and that's how I did blah blah blah, instead of being honest about the fact that you enjoyed it and you were attracted to that person. So, and then two, everybody is constantly sexualizing and fetishizing. And that gets played out as well, but it's just time to stop trying to shame people because they're attracted to trans people, and then constantly throwing all of these attacks at trans women and trans feminine people for merely existing and living in their truths. It's time. And it's also time for everyone to decenter cis men. Because if you notice, in every situation, whether it's a cis woman, a trans woman, a gay man, a bi man, everybody is going bonkers over cisgendered men who are choosing to hurt themselves and hurt others. And again, when you think about it, it just goes to show you we have no control over attraction. Because, in my opinion, cis men, because of the way that they're socialized, are not quality candidates to be trying to have a relationship with. So obviously we don't have control over our attraction, because a lot of us, including myself, are attracted to cis men who are very much violent, abusive, controlling, and cause great bodily harm to multiple different groups of people, including themselves, but we still are attracted to them, and we're still trying to build relationships and friendships and romantic and platonic. And these are the same population of people who are more likely going to murder your ass for being trans because you got pregnant. Because of anything, because they don't know how to regulate their emotions, because socially speaking, the way we socialize cis men and boys and men is very violent and aggressive. It's not, a healthy setup. But the whole point of this is, if you're cisgendered and heterosexual, why are you worried that somebody else is attracted to somebody trans? Why are you worried about somebody else's sexuality? Worry about your sexuality. Worry about your attraction. Worry about your relationship. But that's just it. People that are living in the closet, people who are living in glass houses, typically are the ones always throwing stones, because it's nothing but projection. That whole tweet, all that really told me was, you more than likely are attracted to a trans person. And instead of being honest and real with yourself, you want to continue to do all of this projection and deflection and causing all of this hate and vitriol and blatant transphobia. And it's just ridiculous, because that's just it. I don't like the Ku Klux Klan. But do you see me making tweets, making constant videos and posts about it? Do you see me constantly creating legislation about them? No, because I'm not going to waste my time on a group that I don't like, that I don't associate with. And then as far as y'all like to say, that I don't agree with, I'm not going to spend my time on them. But you notice it's always the bigots who claim to not like this group, don't care about this group, hate this group, all this bullshit, but then they spend all of their lives wrapped up and with the very population of people that they can't stand are doing. It's just wild to me. Just like it's cishet people coming to LGBTQ drag shows to harass people. You're cishet. Why are you even at the drag show since you're so against all of this stuff? And these are also the same cishet people who are on the LGBT dating apps and hookup apps, cheating on their significant partners. But since they're cishet, cheating on their wives and husbands, girlfriends and boyfriends, and fiancés. All the while in the public eye, homophobic and transphobic, biphobic and hateful, misogynistic, treats everybody like shit, but yet you're always with that group. Something is not quite clicking because you're the one with the problem. Whew. The day people can live in their truths and be true to themselves and others, that will be a great day, in my opinion. Hopefully. Anyways, I'm out.